Hi, this is Doug, one of the owners of Endless Adventures Ontario. We're doing our yearly State of the Game videos of what we've been up to. So for myself, I think the same as everyone else. 2021 has been the same as 2020. Kind of sort of in a holding pattern until everything goes back to the new normal. Been hanging out with friends and family as much as I can. Online, things like that. Every couple of weeks I have a Pathfinder game with some good friends. It keeps me sane. Working behind the scenes on a bunch of things for Endless Adventures that most of you won't see until we start our live games. So yeah, that's what I've been up to anyways.
And I'm Ian Patterson. We're the directors of Endless Adventures Ontario, or EAO for short, the entity we've created to help us organize and run our various games. We're going to get into those games in just a few minutes, but we're going to start with a quick personal note. From myself here, this whole COVID pandemic has not been a great time for us, as it hasn't been for everyone. Thankfully, we have been able to continue our work, and so we have not suffered too much in that way. The main thing that for us has been a problem is the lack of gatherings, the lack of social activities, the lack of activities and school trips and things for my kids during all of this. All of that has been not fun, and the lack of ability to just go visit friends it's worn us all down and has not been a great time. So thankfully, we have managed to weather it fairly well, but we are looking forward at this, and the future does look brighter than it has in these past 2 years. I've heard a lot of things about more opening up of the province and less, I guess, problems going on with COVID itself. So that's why we're putting this out here right now, is the idea that we have a hopeful future. So we're hoping to get going on this, and we'd like to sort of bring everybody back up to speed and put these videos out to kind of give you all a bit of a heads up on what's been going on and what we're planning to do in the future. So just quickly before we get started here, we've created Endless Adventures Ontario purely for what I said before, for a method of organizing and running these games that we have. It's a system so that we actually have an ability to start thinking about expansion, start thinking about improvements to what we're doing, and start thinking about other projects that we can do. It allows us the ability to change what we're doing, but also keep what we've got going. The idea is that we are going to be running Fantasy Alive as our primary game. It's our baby. It's the one we love. It's where we started. We're going to keep working on it as best as we can to make sure it is as good a game as we can possibly put out there for everyone. But it does mean that we also have the ability and the organization necessary to start doing other things, like the upcoming game that we've got planned of Dormancy, which Doug will talk about a little bit later on. And then also just expanding into other ideas that we have, working on some other projects, doing some other things, whatever we can come up with, we think that people would enjoy, we're going to try and do. But we now have the framework necessary to do that. So we're looking forward to all those things now. But yes, let's start out with Doug. Doug is going to start talking about Fantasy Alive, because that's our big one, and I'm sure that's mostly why you're all here.